Uh-oh, more bad news for Donald Trump. Got some new polling data here. Guess what his approval rating is? 37%. That is fucking awful. Now, he was already the most unpopular president at this point in his presidency of any president in American history, at least insofar as we have polling data on this. But it just keeps getting worse for him. And how about the economy? The all-important issue of the economy. You know what percent of people approve of Donald Trump's handling of the economy? 34%. And this is not an outlier poll. All the polls are saying something similar. There was a poll just last week from Fox that said the same thing. Awful news for Donald Trump. So much so that Donald Trump was attacking Fox News for their polling. You know it's bad when Trump has to attack Fox News. But he doesn't care who the messenger is. If you're not kissing his ass, if you're not telling him what he wants to hear, he's going to attack you. The problem is he can't spin this. He can't spin the things that are causing his popularity to plummet. He can't spin the price of groceries. Now, he can try to. He can lie to his cult and tell them that the price of everything is coming down. But the problem is those people actually go to grocery stores. I know he doesn't go to grocery stores. I know he doesn't actually buy anything for himself. But his cult does. They have to eat, right? They got to buy their cheap ass beer to go sit on their sofas in their front, in the front lawns next to their broken down pickup. So they know how much cheap ass beer costs. That cheap ass beer ain't quite as cheap as it used to be. And everything else is getting more expensive too. And the cult knows it. Now, most of those cultists would rather go into absolute bankruptcy than to ever admit that they were wrong. But not everyone who supported this buffoon is a dyed-in-the-wool Trump cultist that is incapable of ever admitting that maybe the buffoon that they voted for is not the second coming, is not a 4D chess playing business genius. Not everybody is part of the cult. And those people who are not, even those who voted for him, are starting to wake up. And they're starting to realize the fact that this guy is a fucking disaster. And the numbers are showing it. And that's not the only bad news for Trump, not just his polling numbers. But again, he can't spin this. Here's an article from the New York Times talking about how sales of Hamburger Helper are going through the roof as people are trying desperately to stretch their budgets. Hamburger Helper flying off the shelves. But even that is more expensive than it used to be. Another red flashing indicator for the economy, and that is low-income people and middle-income people as well are beginning to slash spending. They're not spending on shit because they can't afford it, because Donald Trump is crashing the economy and people are uncertain about their future and they simply can't afford the price of things in Trump's economy. And so they're not spending, which is going to hurt the economy even further. We are in a vicious Trump-induced cycle of economic destruction. And you know what else is bad news for Trump? He's still in the Epstein files. That ain't going anywhere. And he's still trying desperately to cover it up. He's still lying about it. He's still trying to cover up the fact that he doesn't want you to know what he may have done to little girls with his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein. And you know what else is bad news for Trump? They held that Charlie Kirk Memorial Hate Rally yesterday, and that didn't work either. What he really wanted that to do was to distract from Epstein. And it did for a little while. But now it's over. And you know what? Really, nobody gives a shit about your little hate rally. Okay? Epstein is what people care about. Whether or not the President of the United States sexually abused young girls. They want to know the answer to that question. And they know that Donald Trump does not want them to know the answer to that question, because the answer to that question is almost certainly disastrous for Donald Trump. He knows what he did to young girls, which is why he's covering it up. Oh, and then he got some really bad news today. Jimmy Kimmel's back. ABC is returning Jimmy Kimmel's show to the air. He's going to be back tomorrow, Tuesday. And guess what? In the end, what did MAGA accomplish? Well, they demonstrated for the world that they're a bunch of fucking snowflakes. That's number one. They can't handle it when a late night comedian makes fun of their fucking cult leader. They learned that their cult leader is a fucking pussy who can't take a little bit of, jabbing at his expense. He can't take it. He's a fucking pussy. So he leaned on ABC to take him off the air. But the pushback against ABC has been so strong that ABC has relented. So all that MAGA and Donald Trump have accomplished is to prove to the world that they're a bunch of fucking snowflakes and that they are authoritarians, that they don't give a damn about free speech, they don't give a damn about the First Amendment, they don't give a damn about the Constitution, generally speaking. And it was so bad that there were a lot of people on the MAGA right who were shocked and appalled by what Donald Trump and his FCC chairman did to violate the First Amendment by using the power of government and threats of government action to force ABC to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air. So they had that. And now that they had all that attention put on Jimmy Kimmel, what do you think the ratings for his show are going to be like when he returns to the air tomorrow? My guess is through the fucking roof. And let us hope that Jimmy Kimmel carves Donald Trump a new one, because all eyes are going to be on him. And Donald Trump only succeeded in proving what a thin-skinned fucking snowflake he is, what an authoritarian, anti-constitutional piece of shit he is. And he has caused Jimmy Kimmel to get all this attention so that the entire country's eyes are gonna be on him. That's some serious 4D chess, isn't it? What a fucking idiot.